I'm convinced that we are designed as humans to move and to hit those cardiovascular thresholds. And I'm convinced that once we do, that serotonin, dopamine, norepinephrine, all those things that we need to feel good are present in our body. And we're self-medicating when we move. I believe it's in some ways the fountain of youth too. I feel like people that I see that find their movement and they do it, they age slower. They manage stress better. They, can heal from things better. So I'm pretty passionate about finding what movement you like. And I don't like even to call it necessarily exercise, because that sometimes brings up in people, stress. I don't like that, because it doesn't have to be running. It doesn't have to be biking. It can be, there's so many ways we can move.
And fun ways, like pickleball, that's a new craze. I love pickleball, that's movement.
Dancing.
Walking is movement. Dancing, yes. I've talked about this before.
Gardening.
Like, I love dancing and it's movement. And sometimes if I'm tracking on my watch, I can burn so many calories, like with a good dance session.
Yes, and with your girls. And you guys are so darling when you guys dance. But even things like gardening, that's movement. There's fishing. There's so many different things that are movement. Skiing, yes.
No, skiing and water skiing.
Yeah,
I love them both. I know you.
And there's there's dual therapy that can happen with those things too. Being outside is therapy. Hearing the birds, the fresh air. You can do triple therapy, exercise outside with friends.
Yes.
Pickleball outside with friends.
Have that emotional therapy while you're
yes. Oh, for sure. And I guess that's another tip I would give, is that when you find a buddy to do stuff with, you're more likely to do it. There are so many times that I feel like, I can't do this. I can't work out today, or I can't run today. But I'm like, they're waiting for me, and in February, when it's 2 degrees in Maine and really cold, it's like, that's what gets me out. It's like, okay, it's not that I really want to go outside right now, but my friends are there. And so if you can find some people, even one person that you can work out with or move with, whatever that movement looks like, that you're more likely to do it, and then get that other therapy, which is social connectivity.
Yeah. So. Well, and I think I talked about this in the book where I shared our experience that we would meet and we would talk, and it felt like a therapy session. Yeah.
Both ways. Both ways.
We would just say all the things that needed to be said, and then somehow we could go back to work and be okay, or go back to our kids, whatever we were doing. And it just helps to talk. And you still go see your therapist if you're doing that. But know that your girlfriends can serve a really good purpose.
Oh, for sure.
In that way as well.
Oh, for sure.
Because we just want to be heard, understood.
Right.
And when you have a good friend that's a good confidant that you can do that with, it's so helpful.
Yeah. And inspiring to see how they handle challenges. I think it's inspiring to see that other people also have challenges, and
it normalizes your experiences.
Completely, at every stage. It cracks me up, like just thinking about the things that we've talked about through the years, like in the stage where we were like so busy we couldn't even find time to go to the bathroom. And I remember talking about how, if I got a free moment, I would like probably hyperventilate, like, what should I do first with my free moment, and now our conversations around adult kids and how do you honor their autonomy and you still care and not saying too much, and like we change. We've like gone through all the steps. Teenage land, we were in that land too.
Yes.
There's just.
And I'm so glad I had a friend to go through it with.
I know.
If you're not going through life with your girlfriends, I don't know what you're doing. You're missing out on something, and you gotta go find your people and be able to go through all the phases and stages of life together. Yeah. Especially, I can say that now that we're older and we've done it. We've raised our kids. We're looking at it from in that rear view mirror perspective with such appreciation for what we were able to go through together. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And with this deep, lasting friendship that has so many facets to it, because we have so many memories. And I think we're also wise enough now to know too that it's not over. There's still more. Yes. Like we're still going through things, and we still will. And it ain't over till it's over. No, nope, it's not. And there's always going to be things, and there's always going to be support that's needed, and there's always going to be friends there to, go through those stages with. And sometimes it's fun to break age ranks too, and to, I look back
in my younger years, and some older women that at the time I thought were old. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they're the age I am right now, and they, reaching out to me and trying to be my friend. And I'll never forget that when I first moved here, I had no friends. And Dawn Seymour, who was at the time I was 30, and I remember where I was when I found out how old she was, because she was my only friend. She reached out to me. She completely initiated the friendship, and would call me every day. And at first I'm like, why is this old lady calling me? And then we became really good friends. And I felt so ashamed of myself when I realized, first of all, when I realized really how old she was a lot older than I thought she was, but I really liked her. And and she initiated that friendship, and it was to this day, such a treasured relationship. And if she hadn't have reached out to me, I don't think that I wouldn't have been on my radar to be like, I'm going to pick that 73-year-old, who acted like she was 40, with all this wisdom. And I just think, now it's my turn. I need to be that one looking and saying, who's a young mother who might appreciate a friend right now, and she probably doesn't think that she wants to be friends with me. but
I've got something to say. Well, times have changed with our technology. And I feel like doing this podcast and having these conversations is one way we can reach and be friends to other people. And we're not seeing you face to face, but we're sharing in this conversation. We're sharing in this wisdom that we're wanting to pass on or offer up as experience to somebody. And it's amazing to me that people all over the world could, tune in and hear this.
Yeah.
And people are sometimes, I know there's some of you out there that are alone that maybe don't have friends for whatever reason, or situationally aren't able to connect in the ways that we had the blessing of connecting. But you can listen in, and you still can connect with people through technology, which I think is great.
It's great. Yeah, it opens up so many more avenues for ourselves. And then I would say be flexible, mentally flexible, and look around and say, that person is not my age, and it looks like they probably have nothing in common with me, but you just never know. Those can be very rich relationships where you're complete yin and yang. Like what you lack, they have. What they have, you lack. And, it's...
And you don't know when you may need to draw upon that friendship. And so it's worth the effort to cultivate. It's worth the effort to put in the time. Because sometimes you will show up in Maine and call a friend and be a bride.
And they're happy to see you. Yeah.
And happy to record a podcast.
Yes, even that. The things I can do for you. The things you do for me, actually. It's very, very much a give and take relationship. Yeah.
So one thing I'm hearing as you're speaking, just through a few ways that you've said it, and it's something that I think is so important, and I'm being reminded of why I love this about you. But you've said several times how you're inspired by other women. This has come up for me a lot recently, especially as I've been out, speaking or promoting my book and talking and answering questions. A topic that continues to come up is this problem of comparison and women seeing other women, what they're doing, and feeling less than and falling short in comparison to it.
Yeah.
Whether they're seeing photos on social media and all the fun things. And you, by default, are saying you look at other women and you're inspired by them. And that's a message I've been trying to say and I want to get across. It comes naturally to you. Why do you think that is? Or what is it that you're doing in your mind that you're not, you're inspired by women?
Yeah, I mean, in full disclosure, I can't say I've never fallen into that trap. Sure. But I think when you start looking at people through a lens of difference, like we don't have to be the same. I don't have to be the same as you. You don't have to be the same as me. I can appreciate what you have, and you can appreciate what I have. All of a sudden, it's not about how we're the same or different. It's more about you bring light to my life and joy to my life in this way or that. And I love that about you. And it's almost like your light shines and reflects off me. My light shines, reflects off you. And together we're brighter and we're happier, and starting to see our relationships more in terms of that is a very powerful, we're always told a superpower is to not care what other people think. And I don't care who you are. I think that's very hard to do. It's very hard to do. It does. It does take maturity. And so maybe it's not so much not caring about what other people think, but just doing your best to think the best about other people, augmenting the good in other people and looking for that and noticing that and trying to kind of minimize the weaknesses. That can make any relationship, a marriage relationship, if you can say, okay, that's your quirk, and I'm just going to try to not look at that. But there's so many great things about you, and we all have quirks and we all have great things, and try to train your eyes to augment the beautiful things and train your eyes to just
overlook that. Give grace to that, because we want that. We want people to see and accept the best in us and the best that we can do.
For sure.
And if we want that, we've got to be giving that to others as well.
Yeah, no, very well said. I completely agree. I need that grace too, because I'm quirky and I've got my things, and I appreciate it when people kind of try to augment my goodness and minimize my quirkiness or my weaknesses. But yeah, if we can do that to other people as well, and maybe that's what we end up kind of surrounding ourselves with, is people who kind of give back what we give out.
Yeah.
Right. If we're giving out grace and acceptance, maybe we tend to surround ourselves with that as well.
So, pretty sisters, you can do a little inventory about how that is showing up in your life. If you continue to have this problem, look in the mirror, maybe. Is the problem you? Like, if you're continually finding that you're, comparing yourself to others or judging others, it's probably more of a reflection, or you think that other people are judging you, that type of thing. It's more of a reflection of how you're judging yourself.
Yeah.
I guess is what I'm trying to say.
And you brought up a good point earlier. With all this technology and social technology it's easier to connect, but I think it's also easier to compare. We can get on Instagram, Facebook, and all of a sudden compare ourselves to all these amazing things other people are doing. And wow, that's so dangerous. I would say that's what I think is probably the biggest thief of joy right now, is if you spend too much time on those mediums comparing yourself. I think, for myself personally, I don't spend a lot of time on them, but when I do, I let myself stay there as long as it's like, oh, I'm so happy to hear and get caught up, and oh my gosh, that's cool. I didn't know that was happening. When I start getting like, my life sucks, I'm not going on vacation, I wish I could go there. It's like, all right, now I've moved into this mental space that's really not good for me to be here. So I think it depends on where we're at when we spend time on social media.
Yeah. Well, this segues into another question I want to ask, as we're getting close to, we'll wrap this up in a little bit, but, when that starts to happen, it's kind of, you're recognizing that's killing the joy. This is not fun. I'm a big proponent of happiness and protecting your happiness and my happiness and being responsible for that. And when you said that, it reminded me that I think you do that also just very well. When you see that you're going down in a spiral, you're like, oh no, I don't want to feel this way. You recognize it, you cut it off. Or you talked about exercise, like you're doing it because it makes you happy.
Yeah. I feel good.
And you feel good.
Yeah.
So what other tips do you have for that? How are you protecting and maintaining that happiness that we could help others to see? Because you do that so naturally, so well.
Well, thank you. But and that is hard. I think that's a pursuit and a struggle that we all have. But I think number one, and I've heard you say this, we're in charge of our own happiness. It's no one's job, other than ourselves, our job to be happy. And that comes solely from within. I don't think there's anything outside of us that can make us happy. Not the most perfect marriage, not the most perfect house, not money, not a constant.
Chase it.
It's not outside of us. It's something that's truly within. And so I think for me is realizing, number one, it's my responsibility. And when I'm not feeling it, to try to identify, why am I not feeling it? There's a variety of reasons. Maybe I am starting to compare myself, or maybe I'm not taking care of some of my core needs. Maybe spiritually I'm a little off, or getting negative, or this is the biggest one I think for us mothers, is trying to control things that we cannot control.